Yo, officially in the incinerator. Welcome to Incense and Common Sense, the live streams that we do here on the Alert Zone TV. Shout out to everybody because this is a worldwide movement. I would love for you guys and girls to become active citizens. Y'all already know how to do that. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, hit the bell with all so you can notify when we drop fire. Let me rephrase that. When we drop fruitful and nutritious content. All that good stuff. So, hope everybody is safe. We still are in the midst of this nationwide storm. I hope everybody down. I see Mississippi and other parts of the country. You got people without power. I hope everybody is keeping warm, being safe, all that good stuff. Keep me informed. I try and keep up with everybody. So, definitely. I know it's Sunday evening. Some of y'all watching the game. Some people gonna be watching the game. I just watched New England win. The other game on in there, but I just thought I'd do this live stream tonight. I wasn't gonna even plan on streaming. I had a request of a video that I was supposed to do. What's going on, Dr. T? I had a request of a video I was gonna do, and unbeknownst to me, good old Cash Patel had something to say. I looked more into it, and I just thought that we go ahead and have this discussion because this piggybacks on something I brought up the other day. So definitely. Also, I want to thank everybody that has subbed to the channel. We getting our subs up. We also starting to get the views up, and that's gonna open a lot of doors for this channel. So I appreciate that, and I want to send a special shout out to Dr. T. Not because you in the house, but for hooking me up with some of these vendors and things behind the scenes. I really appreciate that. With that being said, like I said, I give everybody a couple minutes to get up in here. We did real well last night. It was supposed to be a 30-minute live stream last night, and we went over an hour and something, and I enjoyed myself, So, like I said, if you out on the East Coast right now, I know they saying that y'all gonna get pounded or y'all got a lot more to go. I saw Charlotte earlier, and yeah, Charlotte was whiteout. Yep. So, like I said, shout out to everybody. Give everybody a couple minutes to get up in here. We had a good live last night. I was able to catch Zach. That's why I went on. I knew Zach was gonna do his conversation yesterday, so I went on before him, and I try, like I said, I try and let the heavy hitters get out here. I try not to get in the way of the heavy hitters. So definitely, yeah, I'm rocking my old Seattle Mariners jersey. Believe it or not, I got this jersey back in '98. Still fit me like when I walked out the store. Had this jersey good damn near 30 years. I just decided to throw it on today, while I stream with y'all. So give everybody a couple more minutes to get up in here, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes of it. I think it's going to be a very good conversation for us to have. I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not doing this because I'm looking for drama or I want to hurt somebody. So, definitely. Shout out to Twin Jen also. Confidence Reloaded. I'm going to do my voting tonight, everybody. Make sure you go to a regular meetup and vote. Vote for all the categories. I'm going to drop my votes in tonight. And let that be that. Like I said, I always like to shout out GunTube. I know a lot of times I say things negative about YouTube because I don't like some of their rules, but I guess, man, they're working with us, so I'm appreciative of that. If anything, I'm going to start showing a little bit more appreciativeness. I don't like some of the stuff they do us, but let's go ahead on and get into it. The meat and potatoes. So you guys and girls saw the well, not the thumbnail. Y'all saw the post. If you saw the post on the community tab, I try and post ahead of time now when I know I'm gonna do something. But I had a news clipping come across my YouTube feed, and it was Cash Patel of all people. I think this guy is a moron. I don't think much of him. I think he's a mouth-fropping fool. I think he's not very competent. Nevertheless, Cash Patel decided to open his mouth about this incident yesterday in Minnesota. You guys and girls might be wondering, why does this matter to us that's in the Second Amendment community? Well, I'm going to tell you why this matters. Because he said, if you show up at a protest with a loaded firearm and 2 mags, the FBI going to be on you and they going to arrest you. It's fine. I decided to read the comments and do some research on the rebuttal. And some very, very interesting comments came up. And they were historically accurate. Do you know the very first comment that came up was somebody posted a picture of Kyle Rittenhouse. And they started talking about, wait a minute, didn't he show up to with a firearm? Now, I know some people might try and be technical and say, oh, it was a riot going on. Nah, it was a protest. But Kyle Rittenhouse showed up to a protest with firearm. He didn't go to jail, even though he shot somebody. The mere fact that he was at a protest with a loaded firearm, if that's the rules, if that's the law, he should have been arrested for it. For you guys and girls who don't remember, in the state of Michigan, the home of Gun Freak Nation / the Savage Ready community, during COVID, you had the Michigan in Lansing, the State House. They stormed that building with AR-15s. You have protest march all the time with people that's legally armed. Conservative and liberal. The reason I titled it Rittenhouse and Pretti, Second Amendment Hypocrisy with a question mark is it hypocritical now to say you can't come to a protest with a firearm because there's a protest against a quote-unquote liberal issue, but it's okay to go armed for a quote-unquote conservative issue? See, this is the type of stuff I talk about when I talk about us practicing the Second Amendment and the Second Amendment being colorblind. If the law is you can be legally armed at a protest, it shouldn't matter what the protest is about. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics of why this guy was shot. I've seen a video. I haven't really researched it, and I have mixed feelings about what happened to the guy. I never want to see nobody lose their life, because ain't no coming back from it. But at the same time, there's some lessons that can be learned from what happened yesterday. What happened with Renee Good, there's some lessons that can be learned from there. I just thought we would have this conversation because I want everybody to understand a precedent is being set. You see, because it was supposed to be a quote-unquote anti-protest, when you let Kyle Rittenhouse come out there with them guns and do what he did, you basically laid the rules that it's okay to come to a protest armed. But you can't pick and choose. It's like Ron DeSantis that made it legal to run over people that's blocking the road during the protest. But he did it during the BLM, during the George Floyd protest, just like in Texas, because they were looking for a specific group of people to run over. For you guys and girls who don't know the story about down there in Texas, a guy ran over. He went and looked for a protest. He went out there and shot somebody and then screamed that he was afraid for his life. He got convicted, and Greg Abbott pardoned him because of who he went out there to target. I want everybody to understand something. whether you consider yourself Republican, Democrat, Independent, Christian, Muslim, Jew, gay, straight, whatever, the Second Amendment does not need to be tampered with. Because you set these precedents, and what you're saying is, if we decide to get together because we want to have a rally, like in Virginia, because Spanberg and all them going after the Second Amendment, what you're basically saying now is to show up to a protest and protest what the government is doing is a federal offense now if you have a firearm on you. That's the ground you lay in. So once you lay that ground, you can't come back up and then change the rules because, well, it's a protest you're in favor of. Either we can go armed to protest or we can't. It can't be both. It can't be, well, if we sanction this protest for you to be armed, yeah. But nah, we don't like the basis of this protest. So if you go armed, yeah, you should be shot or you should be arrested. And that was what I took away from this whole thing with Kash Patel. He's going to have some answering to do. I don't have a Twitter account or X or whatever they call that. I do know people that have them. I have seen some of the things going on over there right now. Yeah, it's real bad because people are pointing that double standard out. I only point that double standard out not because I want to be starting shit. I point that double standard out because at any given time, we have a First Amendment right in this country to protest. At any given time, we can have that fire with us and go out there and protest something that may not be popular. And because this particular thing is not popular by the administration, we can all go to jail for coming out there legally armed. And the thing was, Kyle Rittenhouse gun was legal, even though it was straw purchase, but okay. Well, this guy had a legal firearm on him. Like I said, I don't know the full story of what happened. I'm not choosing a side, I'm pointing something out about the Second Amendment and where we're going. I want people who believe in the Second Amendment wholeheartedly to put your differences aside when it comes to your political differences. Put them aside. We got one goal to achieve, that the Second Amendment shall not be infringed on. Because if you support this man being shot because he brought a gun out there, that's an infringement. Because a lot of people that defended Kyle Rittenhouse is saying that this guy shouldn't have been out there with a gun. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse had a gun. See, a precedent was set. And that's what people want people to understand. I'm just pointing out a precedent that was set and how somebody else decided, well, okay, if that's the rules, I'm going to practice that rule too. And now you got Kash Patel out here talking about if you show up to these ICE protests with a gun, they're going to arrest you. Well, wait a minute. You know, when Michigan happened, ain't nobody got arrested. And Michigan is in a quote-unquote blue state. Nobody got arrested for that. And I mean, the law is you cannot go into a federal or a state building with a firearm. And they stormed the Capitol with AR-15s. They was out there blocking the traffic. You guys and girls seen the videos of that stuff. What was going on out there. That's the kind of stuff we talk about here. This is the nutritious part of the Second Amendment that might be hard for people to digest. But take your heart out of it and put your mind into it and just listen to me. We can't allow statements like this to go unchecked. That if you're gonna show up to a protest, with a firearm, we're gonna arrest you. Because what if the issue is something that the government approves of and then people show up? People who may not approve of what you're protesting for is gonna say, wait a minute, they got a gun. They're here legally armed. Why can't we do it? And that's why I thought I'd just go ahead on and just have this little discussion with y'all and just see what y'all think. And just to put that on your mind. When I say the Second Amendment shall not be infringed, that's what it means. It shall not be infringed. You can't tell me 1 minute I can do this and then the next minute I can't because you don't like it. The law is the law. And when you lay these precedents down, I've told you guys and girls when I talked about the McCloskeys and how it wasn't approved of why the McCloskeys came out there legally armed because of what the protest was about, and they went to jail for it. All right, well dressed, yeah, man. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind when you think about us practicing our Second Amendment rights that it shall not be infringed on. Now what you're saying is you're opening the door for people to interpret, okay, so if somebody decides they want to have one of these 2A rallies, these 2A get-togethers, well, now the FBI can show up and say, you guys out here protesting. Y'all should be arrested. You know, you have all these Patriot Front groups and all that running around the country, marching with AR-15s and all this other craziness. Should they be arrested? This is what happens when you let a mouth-fropping moron be the head of the FBI. They get up there and they talk stupid. Cash Patel don't know shit. I don't even think he has a background in law enforcement, but he don't know shit. And he has the audacity to get up there and say something stupid like that. So you guys and girls, I want y'all to understand something. You gotta watch this and you gotta call this stuff out when it happened, and we gotta stop it before it gets started, man. Because what it does is it leaves the rule open to interpretation. And the interpretation is going to be, well, do I like why you guys and girls are protesting? Do I like why you guys and girls are gathering? And if I don't, I'm going to arrest you. But if I do, yeah, go ahead on. I'm going to even give you federal backup to get out there and show your guns and act a fool. You can't have that. You know, like I said, I don't know all of what happened. There's a whole bunch of different angles. There's a whole bunch of different stories. I don't want to pass judgment until I actually sit down and watch it myself. But it's not looking well. It's not looking well, man. And at the end of the day, I haven't heard much from the NRA, but I could be wrong. So I know during Kyle Rittenhouse, the NRA couldn't shut up. They was out there donating to his defense. The NRA wouldn't shut up. Well, hey, you got to be across the board. You know, like I said, I didn't see the full video, so I don't know what the whole thing was about. Spell me. Might be one of them trolls. All right, we got Gun Freak Nation in the house. William Vitelli. But yeah, so you know, I've been to a couple protests in my life. Not a troll. Yeah, I know. I see that. I see that. One of them bots. Hey, bot, don't you do me a favor, bot? Hit the likes button while you ain't here, bot. Spell me. I went along with this shit once before, and this motherfucker gave me a spelling bee. Get out of here. Or find you something to do. Find you some business. You ain't hit that like button, dude. And what do I win for spelling me? What do I win for spelling it? I'm sitting up here entertaining this crap. Anyhow, like I was saying, I don't want to pass judgment on the whole situation. I don't want to pass judgment on the whole situation. Yeah, M-E. Alright, I spelled it. Go on about your business. Nevertheless, I don't want to pass judgment on the situation as far as was the shooting justified or not. Okay. I don't want to justify if this was, but the fact that he brought his firearm out there, and Cash Patel had the audacity to say that he can't come to a protest armed. I don't care whether you believe in the ICE protest or you don't believe in them. I feel like this. This should alarm you what Cash Patel is saying. Because you never know when you got to take to the street for something. And because what we see as government issues might not be the same for all of us. So you let him get away with that, and you believe me. It's just like the precedent of letting Kyle Rittenhouse come out there with that gun. Whether you believe in what he did and how all the trial went, the fact that they said he didn't break a law coming out there with that gun, well, Pretti going up to Minnesota and having his gun on him, he didn't break a law. And now the mouth-fropping fool Cash Patel is running around here talking about you can't take no gun to no protest. Now, he's already infringing on everybody's Second Amendment rights. And as I always say, whether you agree with somebody or not, when you sit by and you let somebody do them dirty, it's only a matter of time before it happens to you. It's only a matter of time. Because if you live in Virginia right now, think about this. You guys are already out there protesting in the ruckus and talking about taking to the street. And it's my understanding this Spanberger or whatever her name is, there's going to be a lot of protesting going on in the state of Virginia because they saying she talking about raising the taxes in the state from 5% to 13% right away because she knows she can't get reelected. I think you got to split terms or what have you. So, I mean, and they already talking about, I think it's 18 bills that they trying to get together to go after the Second Amendment. They're already talking about how they're trying to castrate the Second Amendment in Virginia. And just know one thing. Part of Virginia is the DMV area. You know who's in the DMV area? The damn Supreme Court. You know who they let have this stupid assault weapons ban? Maryland. They kept saying that Maryland assault weapons ban can be upheld and it's not unconstitutional because it's in a DMV area. Well, for those of you who never been to that area, the DMV is Virginia or DC, Virginia, and Maryland. It's the DMV area, and that's what they call it. And yeah, the state of Virginia getting ready to go through it. So what Cash Patel is saying, if you guys decide to take out to the streets and protest, if you show up legally armed, you're going to go to jail, according to this moron. Now, if it's the law, it's one thing. But if it's not the law, who is he to tell somebody they can't go to a protest armed? Or is it because it's a protest he don't approve of because they protesting ICE? Like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight as far as being out there in front of ICE. I'm not going out there. If you're going out there and protest, that's your business. That's your right. But yeah, I just wanted to be known. The precedent was set with Kyle Rittenhouse. Going out there. Now you can't change the rules. The precedent was already set. Like I said, Virginia just had a march, their yearly march. I think it's a yearly march that they do or something like that on the state capitol and discuss this. Told you about guys and girls about that. And our last other discussion out there about that. So I think it's very hypocritical to say if you go and protest ICE and you got your fire on you, you legally armed, that you're going to be arrested by the FBI. But if you're going out there to protest something liberal and you're a quote-unquote conservative, it's okay for you to bring your AR-15, your SKS, your M4. You can come out there dressed like a Call of Duty combat warrior in a damn rolling tank. And it's okay because it's approved of. Cash Patel, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and just do your job. Don't tell nobody about where they can and can't take a firearm. You don't know shit. I understand before you became the FBI director, you was one of these conspiracy theorist podcasters or whatever. Going back to doing that, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Because you don't know shit. Excuse me for cussing like that, but I said I was going to work on trying not to do that on camera, but He doesn't know anything, and he doesn't understand the infringement that he's causing. And this is what I want you guys and girls who rock with this channel or rock with the Second Amendment to understand. Whether you like somebody or not, whether you agree with their political views or not, when it comes to the Second Amendment, yeah, man, he just needs to shut the fuck up. He don't know shit. I mean, I was listening to I've Had It Already. That's how I found out about Cash Patel background. That he was some kind of conspiracy theorist and all that. And next thing you know, he the head of the FBI. He almost got his ass fired before all this. So, he might want to not make no more damn enemies. You know, but to tell us what we can and can't do when it comes to the Second Amendment, you don't always have to agree with me. You don't always have to agree with my stance. The one thing we should be able to agree on is that the Second Amendment shouldn't be infringed on. That's one thing we should be able to put whatever differences aside we have. If you think I'm a moron and you don't like me because you don't think I know enough about guns, fine. But if I'm out here saying that it shouldn't be infringed on because we disagree about something, we should be able to at least come together on that. Like I said, the Second Amendment should be colorblind, and it's not. It's not colorblind, and it's not politically blind, and that's what we need it to be. At the end of the day, you believe what you believe. Damn it, if you go in there and you pass a background check, you should be allowed to get your damn guns, and you should be allowed to carry them. Period, point blank. It should not be, well, because like I said, we don't approve of this particular protest, you can't have one. But if we approve of this particular protest and you politically lean our way, yeah, by all means, go ahead. Hell, not only do you take your guns, I'll send law enforcement out there to back you up. You know, so a lot of y'all, or a lot of people that was cheering Kyle Rittenhouse on, are some of the same people on social media now talking about he went armed and this and that, and he shouldn't have brought no gun to no protest. Y'all were the loudest ones out here cheering. You put up $2-3 million for Kyle Rittenhouse for his defense. Hell, the damn judge acted as his defense attorney. So you set a precedent now. Now you can't come back and grasp on that. And even I've seen people who said they supported Kyle Rittenhouse come out and say that this guy did something wrong because he had a legally registered firearm on him, plus his carry permit. That says a lot about Second Amendment people. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm looking like Beetlejuice? Damn, I'm that ugly? It's alright. I don't mind being ugly. I'm cool with that. Yeah, okay. Like I said, I'm not arguing with why this happened because I don't know the full detail. The whole point is Cash Patel decided to open his fucking mouth and say don't even show up to a protest with a firearm. He don't have the right to tell us that, number one. And number two, the precedent been set already. So, like I said, I don't want to pass judgment on whether this guy was right or wrong because I still haven't seen all the angles. I hear that he stepped in the middle to break something up or whatever, and a little skirmish happened, and they took a gun off him. I don't know the full story, but yeah, that still doesn't mean that we can't take a gun out there because you're setting a dangerous precedent. If Cash Patel can tell you that, because what people gonna start doing is. That's not my point. Listen, before you start defending Kyle Rittenhouse, my point, I don't know if you came in at the beginning of the stream, but I'll repeat this. My whole point of this is not whether you believe Kyle Rittenhouse was right or wrong, whether you believe the killing of this guy in Minnesota was right or wrong. I'm responding to Cash Patel infringing on our rights. The mere fact to say that we shouldn't be at a protest with a firearm, that's what this live stream is about. It's not about whether I think Kyle was right or wrong. What I said is a precedent was laid that if you said it was okay for him to be out there at a protest with a firearm, you saying it's okay for everybody else. I've seen other protests of since Kyle Rittenhouse of people showing up with firearms, and now we got this moron Cash Patel who don't know his ass from a hole in the ground, his asshole from a hole in the ground, telling us we can't come to a protest legally armed. That's just stupid. That's my point. It's not about whether I believe somebody is justified or not in unaliving or being unalive. It's just the whole point of it's our right to go. We've always had protests in this country where people showed up armed. This ain't nothing new. And now because Cash Patel don't like what people is, Cash Patel, the FBI director, he's not intelligent. He's a moron. That's why I decided to do this. Yeah, like I said, I appreciate you, Twin Jen. I understood that. I already had an idea that seeing Rittenhouse name was going to have people come in here thinking I'm attacking Kyle Rittenhouse. I have done no such thing. Oh, nothing much, just talking about this hypocrisy. All I'm talking about is, let me repeat this for the 50th time. Cash Patel saying that we cannot come to a protest armed is infringing on our rights. Out of Cash Patel's mouth, he said if you come to a protest armed, the FBI is going to take you and they're going to arrest you. That's his words, not mine. What I'm telling you is, whether you believe in Kyle Rittenhouse or not, whether you believe this guy in Minnesota was right or wrong, our rights is being infringed on by a mouth-fropping fool who don't know shit. That's what I'm talking about. And what I'm saying is, whether you agree with each other or not, if you say it's okay for one person to do it, then it's got to be like that across the board. If the Second Amendment is for one, it's supposed to be all. And for too long, the Second Amendment has had an asterisk next to it. And I'm tired of it. Now I'm deciding that I'm going to do something about it. Not only am I speaking up, I'm also writing my Congress people. Yeah, that's all I'm saying is Cash Patel, because he's a moron, he didn't say, hey, if you come to the protest, everybody knows what everybody should know. No, listen to me. Everybody should know when you show up to a protest, when you show up legally armed in front of law enforcement, you don't insert yourself into any kind of a physical altercation because you're asking for your life to be lost. Everybody knows that. That's not the point of this live stream. The point of this live stream is this idiot Cash Patel decided you can't come to a protest armed at all. He doesn't know nothing. He don't know that. That's against the rights. We have a right to show up to a protest armed. That's not illegal. Minnesota is an open carry state. Most of these states in this country is open carry, but nevertheless, still, we have a right to be legally armed. Now, if you go out there and you insert yourself and you decide you're going to get up in somebody's that's legally armed space and you're going to put yourself in harm's way, that's your business. Yeah, that's what I'm saying about, that's, okay, look, conservative mind, look, I want everybody to understand something about this channel. This is the nutritious channel. When I do live streams about serious topics, I tell you, take your heart out of it and put your mind into it so you can understand what I'm saying. And if you're going to go to a protest, leave your firearm home. Or if you're going to take a firearm with you out there, you don't have no business jumping in front of no damn cop. Period, point blank, that's my personal opinion. But the stream is about Cash Patel saying that we can't come armed to a protest when you constantly have these, when people are protesting the infringement of the Second Amendment, that's a protest. That's a protest. When they had them with the Boogaloo protest the other day out there in Virginia that I talked about, that's a protest. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying this. Don't infringe on my right. Whether you agree with why I'm protesting or not, I have a right under the First Amendment to lawfully assemble and protest. I also have a right to be armed at a protest. Period. Like I said, for those of you who just getting in here, don't forget, this ain't the old days of the mainstream media. This is new age. This is life after the internet. Video and the internet is forever. Back in the days, the mainstream media would have put out what they wanted to put out, and we would have seen what they told us happened. In today's world, is different. When those people stormed the Michigan State Capitol, it's illegal to bring guns in there. They were storming the Capitol and in the police face screaming, "Take it from me." So don't tell me I can't go to a protest armed when I'm watching other people do it, because you don't like what I'm protesting about. Because I can tell you this, Virginia is going to have a whole lot more protesting going on with the way that they're trying to go after the Second Amendment out there in the state of Virginia. You know, I'm not going to make it a liberal or a conservative thing, because like I said, we got a conservative Supreme Court in this country. They got a supermajority. If they wanted to stop all this Second Amendment, yeah. Well, you're a moron if you're going to point a gun at a cop. Like I said, I didn't see the video, so I'm not speaking on that just yet. But as I was saying, if the Supreme Court really was about the Second Amendment, we wouldn't, some of the discussions we have on gun tube, we wouldn't even have. There would be no reason to have them. Because they got a supermajority. And look at how many Illinois quote-unquote assault weapons bans still stand. The one in Maryland still stand. I think there's one in Washington that stands. Yeah. And that's just my only gripe about what Kash Patel said is, to say you can't go armed to a protest means you can't go armed to no protest. It can't be, well, if it's the protest that we approve of, yeah. But if we don't like why you're protesting, well, we get to take you to jail. That guy's an idiot, man. That guy don't know nothing. And he talks stupid. He talks really stupid. I don't care for the guy. I didn't know a lot about him. I try not to have judgment on people, that I don't know. But when you listen to him talk, he's very clueless. For him to get up there and say that, look, the drug kingpin already turned himself in for whatever reason in Mexico. Y'all caught another guy down there that was on the run for 10 years for murdering his coworker. Worry about them. Don't worry about legally armed Americans bringing guns. All right, appreciate you for stopping by. Just make sure you give us a like when you come up in here. Yeah, man, I understand. Look, everybody got their things going on, and I appreciate people because sometimes I have to do it. Pop in, say hello, give the video a like, and go on about my business. I just decided to do this. Now, the game is on up in there, the Rams game, and I'll just watch the New England game and what have you. I know it's Sunday. I also know right now we are in the grips of a really nasty weather front. Up here, they're talking about another night of minus 30 up here in Iowa. We didn't get no precipitation. But south of us in Missouri, I hear it's really bad. Going out east, I hear it's really bad. There's people in the country without power right now, so I can understand. A lot of people got a lot of things going on. Yeah. Well, I picked the Patriots to win because Bo Nix didn't play, and they won. Congratulations to them for doing their thing. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like I said to everybody, I want you guys and girls to understand something. Um, I plan on taking this all the way to the White House as far as writing letters, sending emails and things to defend our Second Amendment rights. I don't care if you don't agree with me or I don't agree with you about everything politically. Hell, we don't even have to agree about the same type of firearms and ammunition that we like. But I do agree about this. If you're able to be legally armed here in America, it is not my right to infringe on your right, even if I don't agree with you. I believe you should be able to practice your Second Amendment, and whatever differences we have, we can sit down and we can discuss that amongst ourselves, and we can hammer that out. But I don't believe because I don't agree with you politically, I can say, well, you can't have a gun. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in infringing on the rights, because if I let them do it to you, eventually they're gonna turn around and they're gonna do it to me. So that's why I titled Rittenhouse, and Pretti, because I know a lot of people see Rittenhouse and they figure I'm gonna attack him. I didn't bring this up to attack Kyle Rittenhouse. I only brought his name up to point something out Cash Patel said, and then I saw in the comment section and on a couple other videos about people saying, wait a minute, you can't say this person can't come, or you can't show up armed at this protest, but if it's something we approve you protesting at, you can show up armed. You can't do that. So that's why I did what I did. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm not gonna hold you guys and girls up. I know y'all got a lot to do to get ready for possible work tomorrow. Some of y'all, the weather is so bad you probably won't get to come out of your house. If you lost power, condolences to you. I hope everything turns out for you and your family. Okay, he got murdered without due process. Yeah, that San Jose thing. Like I said, I don't know a lot. I saw bits and pieces. I did see when he jumped out of the car and the shootout happened. I know the cop tried to run him over first, and from what I saw, that's what made him shoot at the cop, and that's what made him shoot at the cop, and then a gunfight ensued and what have you. Like I said, I did a preliminary on that, but yeah, you got to be careful out here. For you as a law-abiding citizen, I know we are in the era of pull out a camera phone and video everything. You pull it out that camera phone in your car, make sure you got your EDC close by you. Because sometimes you're going to have to pull for that EDC before you have to pull for that damn camera. Don't get yourself caught up in the crossfire for clicks and views. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have independent sources and independent news clippings, and not something that's skewed one way or another. But make sure you, as a law-abiding citizen, if they have a crash or police chase or some kind of a shootout in front of you, if you got a grab for something, make sure you got your pistol or your shotgun or your PCC or whatever you ride with, whatever you walk with. Make sure you got it close by, because you might have to grab that. I know a situation happened before I moved up here, man, years ago. This had to be maybe 2008, 2009, man. Might have even been 2010. No, it had to be 2008. It had to be 2008, man. I watched a couple guys chase another guy off one street. They turned on another street that we happened to be coming down, and you can hear the gunshots. And they were shooting at him, and he made a U-turn and he crashed into a dumpster, and he ran across the street. He must have had already been hit, and he collapsed, and one of the guys in the vehicle jumped out, man, while he was laying on the ground, and put about 10 more in him. And traffic was at a standstill. This was in the middle of a very, very busy traffic jam. Okay. And when the shooter turned and looked at all the traffic, he had his pistol in his hand, so I couldn't back the car up. I flung the door open and got down and got ready, you know. And I hear you. And I got ready because I thought it was going to be something, but he took off running, man. So things happen just that quick, you know. Just that quick. You just got to make sure you got your piece on you. Like I said, I know everybody's main number one reaction now when they see something is to grab a phone and start recording. Make sure you grab that gun. Henry, who is Henry Locke? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Oh, somebody in here trolling. Hey, troll, do me a favor. Hit the likes button. Get me in the algorithm. By the way, uh, by the way, I don't pay them guys no attention. Eventually, I'm gonna figure this moderation shit out. Oh yeah, I appreciate you for tuning in. Yeah, man. Look, at the end of the day, that's James Ripley. At the end of the day, I don't want our rights to be infringed on. We don't always have to agree with anything, with everything. And like I said again, probably for the 10th time, we don't always have to agree on anything. Everything. But it's unfair for me to let them do something wrong and then think eventually they're not going to do it to me, especially when it comes to the Second Amendment. So yeah, like I said, this wasn't a live stream about whether Kyle Rittenhouse was right or wrong. It was about the fact that it was at a protest that he was armed at, and that moron Cash Patel decided that he was going to open his mouth and let what few brain cells he got working in that empty head of his say something silly like that. He doesn't know shit. He need to keep his mouth shut. He need to be worried about the Epstein files. How about that? Well, like I said about the whole Kyle thing, the thing was just he was out there with a gun, and Cash Patel, you know. Yeah, I've already made that clear. Yoshi knows. Yeah, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment. Period. It's all about our rights. And I've told you guys when I talked about the McCloskeys, when it comes to the Second Amendment, they've already found what the divides in the Second Amendment is. And if they can keep those divides, that'll be part of the reason we'll never get national reciprocity. Like I tell you guys, the Second Amendment is a football. It's just like abortion. All it is a political football. We got a conservative Supreme Court with a majority. And, yeah, look at what California did to Glock. We got a conservative Supreme Court with a supermajority that won't step in. You can't even trust the Supreme Court. So, yeah, we can't make no assumptions, you know, because you consider yourself to be conservative and I consider myself to be independent or whatever. That don't mean our Second Amendment rights should be infringed on. And I don't think it's fair if you decide to protest and you have your firearm with you. That as long as it's lawful, I don't think it's fair that you go to jail for that. What's going on, Ronnie? I can't call it. Yeah, man. These Glock bans. I think it's sad. That's another thing. I think it's sad that people that live in certain states, especially California, got these quote unquote off the roster firearms. I mean, that is just dumb. Oh yeah, I that's why I did this. That's why I'm speaking out. I know this. Look, all of us that do GunTube, all of us that come online, whether we do content or whether we just watch it. Look, the Patriot Act, the FBI, the CIA, everybody know everything that we watch and everything we say. Yeah, I'm being direct to Cash Patel. Shut the fuck up. You don't know shit. Don't impede on our rights. If you want to say that that guy put himself in harm's way because he reached for his firearm and he injected himself in something he shouldn't be in, that's your business. But to say that we can't come armed, nah, because it's something you don't agree about. Nah. It's like Ron DeSantis saying that you can run over people that's protesting, but he only wants you to do it if it's something that he don't approve the people of protesting for. Then you can do that. Now, if you get out there and run over somebody that's in the middle of the street protesting something that he's for, and you run him over, he gonna call you and say he gonna make an example out of you. That's what I'm talking about. That moving the goalposts. The Second Amendment shall not be infringed on. It's not may, it shall. Yeah, I'm glad I'm ringing the alarms. I'm glad I'm ringing the alarm that Second Amendment groups now, Cash Patel put his foot in his mouth because of his little hatred or his little foolishness. Now he didn't put his foot in his mouth. I told you guys and girls, Donald Trump lost his re-election in 2020 because a lot of us didn't forget when he went ahead on and banned bump stocks. People was advising him not to do that because they said if you give them bump stocks, they're not going to be happy with that. They're going to come after the Second Amendment wholeheartedly. And he decided to ban bump stocks, and what happens? The ATF come with this ban on the braces and all this other crap. Some stores just stop selling them and what have you. So yeah, you let them start, they're not going to be finished. You'll never make them happy. All of us that's legally armed in this country right now can say tomorrow, we're going to get rid of every gun we got. We're going to get a double barrel shotgun. We're going to get 2 6-shooters. And we're going to get a Ruger 1022 rifle. And we ain't going to, everything else we got, we're going to give away. And they won't be happy with that. They'll say, okay, we got them to give away all that other stuff. Now let's take what else is left. No, you don't give them an inch. You give them an inch, they're going to want a mile, man. You don't give them an inch because they don't know when to stop. And I understand they played on Trump's emotion. Yeah, I understand they played on Trump's emotion when they used the Las Vegas massacre to go after bump stocks. And he might truly think that, well, if I get rid of bump stocks, that nah, you can't get rid of nothing. It's here, let it stay. You start getting rid of it, then people gonna politicize. Nah, man, I'm tired of the Second Amendment being a political football. I want absolute Second Amendment rights, and let that be there. I'm gonna be worried about every cycle, every election, what part of the Second Amendment they gonna go after next. Because we already got enough laws on the books that they're already going after. It's already bad enough now that low-key a lot of these states, with the help of the federal government, getting laws passed that said if you got a firearm, you got to let law enforcement know and all this other, let them search you and all this other carrying on. If I got to go through the headache of like that to keep my gun, I don't want no restrictions on what I can have. So, like I said, Cash Patel, if you a Second Amendment, if you will have a Second Amendment organization, you guys and girls are welcome to reach out to me. Or you guys and girls are welcome to go to people you know that have some kind of power. Or if you got a channel, talk about it. Let's get this message going. Cash Patel stepped in a whole bunch of shit now, and we ain't gonna let him wipe it off. When he decided that he gonna get up there and say about going to a protest, you can't go legally armed to a protest, he stepped in shit. He stepped in a lot of shit. And we not gonna let him wipe that off of his damn shoe. That's gonna stick to him. That stench is gonna stick to him. Because that shows what he thinks about the Second Amendment to make a dumb statement like that. all he had to do was keep his fucking mouth shut. Or if he was gonna open his mouth, all he had to do, mm-hmm, all he had to do is keep his mouth shut and say, well, he interjected himself into something and it cost him his life. But to say you're gonna be armed, and this is his words, if you show up armed to a protest, the FBI gonna watch you and they gonna arrest you, fuck you. So that means now anybody in Virginia, according to Cash Patel, when you guys start ramping these damn protests up about the Second Amendment, the FBI gonna be out there in vans and buses to load y'all up, according to Cash Patel. Now, if that don't happen, I'm gonna call him out on it. Because we're not gonna have this when you're gonna pick and choose. No, it's illegal across the board, or it ain't illegal, period. You're not gonna pick and choose on whether it's an issue you like or not. So, with that being said, I want everybody that's able to be legally armed, practice your Second Amendment rights. It's not illegal under the Constitution. Get out there and get armed. Do not give an inch. I don't care if the person you talking to, you can't stand them. If you guys and girls both agree on the Second Amendment, let that be y'all common denominator that binds y'all. Even if you don't care or agree on everything else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's make them know that the Second Amendment, like I said, it's got to be a litmus test. It's got to be like stepping on a landmine. If you step on the Second Amendment, it's got to be it. It's got to be something you can't never walk back from. When people get up here and say they're against abortion, the people that's for it, they don't ever let them forget that. Well, guess what? Cash Patel just made himself a political enemy in the sense of you went against the Second Amendment. And we're not going to let him get away with that. So if you have a platform and you see this, if your platform is way bigger than mine, I've asked of you, talk about this and pass it on. We need to get that out there. We need to make it known. Whether you believe in what happened in Minnesota or not, the fact that you're going to bring up the Second Amendment and put us in the middle of that, nah, we're not going to have that. So with that being said, everybody, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you get a video a like. And until next time, stay safe, stay armed, stay on high alert. We out.